class and I don't want too much data, and because we're not going any deeper into analysis like that, so we can practically use that. And I'm using the software version. We have a store data set, and then this is an hotel data set. This for bed space and stuff like that. So now let's go into data entry. Basically, if you are dealing with Excel, if this is not your first time of Excel, you understand what it means by data entry. I think there is a profession that is called data entry. People do use it. I think, yeah, people do make money off it just entering data. And I think you did something in the likes of logic reasoning and some formulas last class, and that will also be the foundation in which I'll be building on this class. So we have the data entry. Now, if I'm going to enter a data, let's start with entering something. If I'm dealing with data, the first thing we usually um, do is we start with a primary key. The primary key is a unique identifier, and this is very important if you are dealing with data, if you are dealing with should I say consumer data, company data, especially if it's a product data where you have one person buying the same product, another person buying that same product. So it's important to have an ID. You understand? And an ID can be 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we use autofill. Let's use autofill to fix it up. Let's stop at 20. So we have that. Then when we have an ID, we need a date now. So we need when did the buyer bought something. I'm just trying to recreate the data there. And then we have date. And then let's say 1 9 5 2. Now, what has happened is that it has automatically categorized it as data. Let me still use 9. You understand? If you go to home now and check data type, it has already categorized it as date. And we need that. So this is basically just telling you, teaching you how you put in data. Normally, it doesn't come this way. You have to put the data there yourself, especially if you're given you're given a workbook of data, and then you need to fix data. You you basically be copying and placing it there. Now let's see, what product do we need? We have our ID, we have our data. Now we need a product. Let's see. Uh, I want it all caps. And then let's say we have a TV, glass first. Then we have TV, we have phone. I think this three is enough. I can just sort of feel it. So we have something like this. Now we have full name. At this case, I'm not. I don't. I don't like using space. We can use space. I just use underscore for there. This is just my own preference. Let's see, what name should I pick? You can start with. We just need to give it two names. Let's say Billy. Run. Oh, that sounds weird, but still, I'm gonna copy a name. I'm not in position to start thinking of good names like this. Oh, then you get what I mean? I just need two names, and from there we'll be able to do a little something of sorting. Copy this name from my ready-made table, so mind the color difference comes with it. I think, okay, now let's talk about, did I talk about it here? No, let's talk about flash fill. So we have first name. I have last name. Now, getting the first name and last name is basically me just splitting this. Now, I can do this by going and then splitting it. I can go and split it here, but the best thing to do is just use a flash fill. I have Bill. I have run. And so I can come down to this and put it here. If it comes like this, don't be shocked. You can just simply go there and put in the flash fill. Or it automatically just fills the name for me. You can do the same thing here. Although this is not part of what I'm supposed to take it, but you get the idea. We have our first name and last name, and we can delete this, but let's still leave it. Now we have our first name, we have our last name. What else do we need? What else do we need? Now, I would say we need a sale, right? We need the sales data, right? Oh, wait, before I even go to sale, let's look at something. I have my date, right? This is still under date on time. Let me go to home. Where is it general now? Let's set it as date. Currency date, accounting date. It's accepted as date, so that's good. Should I do it now? Should I wait for a table? Let's wait for a table. So now that we've created last name, although that once we've created a table, it's way easier that way. And it won't confuse anybody. So let's look at sales. I'll just be giving should I say a number here. Let's go sales. What do I want to put as class? Let's say 30. TV. Let's put 4. You'll continue going like that, but not to waste our time. Let me see from my notes. Here, I'll copy sales and then use that. But at your leisure, you can put it yourself. Just get used to it. Putting data in yourself. But at your leisure, it's nice to do that yourself. So this is in caps. So basically what I'm doing is data entry. These are called data entry. Yeah, fixing the data. It's important you know this because we'll be doing something on data validation and it will tell. I don't want to go there because I'm supposed to use that to build it, but I don't want to rush it. Let's start with 1, 2. Yeah. Okay, wait. Should I go quantity first? If I'm going to do it very well, look at it very well. Should I do quantity first or should I do total cost? It's still based on you, sure. Well, let's do quantity. And this my quantity is lacking an A. So let's see, we have 30. What number should I give this? Let's say we have 10. We have 2. We have 2. 2. 5. What should I do this at 1,000? I'm just trying to get some things done. Well, you get the idea. 86. This will look weird. I don't want it. Oh yeah, we have this. I think we can now make this a table. And to make this a table, all you just need to do is select everything, then insert the table. It's as easy as that. And good, you have a table. Now from here, let's see, what am I supposed to do? We can start with formatting cells. If you want to format a cell, you just you left click and then you go to format cell. Normally you won't use this for I don't see any reason why you need this. But from here, you can either change it to currency, accounting, date, time, data types. I think we've done that before. And then you can go and then decide to change your fonts if you're not happy with the current fonts, because I know some people that just like Times Roman. You can decide and select what you want. You can select the size of it. You can select it to be bold and the likes. I don't want to do that because I don't want it to look weird. And you can also select your border instant. The current border we're using now is this straight line. We can send it to be thicker. You can use double stroke. And you can feel it. The current color now is, shall I say, a little bit of light blue. We're using an automatic pattern color. That's why we have both blue and white. But we can decide to change it to whatever style we like. You won't really be using protection for now. So basically this is it. And then also, apart from formatting the cell, we can also format the table. This is the normal format that usually shows the light blue and white. You can change it to whatever would you like. And you can set a new table, depending, just to be on the safe side. You understand? So that's what you use to format a table. Cell style. I'm trying to show you real time. This is what it does to you, to your table. It just depends on what you want to do. Now I'm selecting all this. I can decide to just select only here. And then I'll go to home, go to format table. No, it's not format table I'm looking for. So, and it's only affects this time. It just depends on what you want to do. I think now we have a basic data, right? So we've entered the data of touchable formatted cell is, and then let's look at data types. Let's just view it. Trying to flip brush through so we can get where we want to get to. We have a general. This is basically used for any figures at all. We have a number ID. This allows for decimal point. This does not. We have a currency. Then we have a date, short date, and long date. Let me show you. We can look at it in this way. If you're looking at short date, that's where it currently is. If you're looking at long date, we have Saturday, Thursday, this, Thursday, that. You understand? But wait, I think I can do something with this. No, let me know this. So we have a long date, we have a short date. If we have time, we don't have any data on time now. We don't have percentage, we have fractions. And this is basically what your text will be in at. So these are the most common formats we have, and these are the formats you basically be using throughout anything you want to do on Excel. I don't think there's any other special format. I've not dealt with any special format like that. So we'll come back to this. Let's go to this data. I think I've showed you how to turn something into a table. So it's the same way we do it. Put insert, turn into a table. And I'm already using, since I'm using blue here, let me change this to something else. I'm going to insert. Let's use something in this nature. So we have this. It doesn't look nice enough. I don't want it to be too. So we have this now. Then we now go into the next thing we are supposed to do today, which is conditional formatting. Now, since you've done logical reasoning, conditional formatting should not come as new to you. Basically, what we are doing is we are trying to show our data logically. I don't know if you get me. Please, can you hear me? You can hear me, let me know. Can anybody hear me? Okay. Okay, good. So, okay. Basically, what we are doing in conditional formatting is simple. We're trying to show our data in a new light. And then from there, you can talk of cells. You understand? It's basically understanding this will help you when you are going into SQL syntax. We have greater than, less than, between, equal to, a text. This is for physical, this is text, dates, or duplicate value. And one of the things I like using most times, anytime I'm dealing with data, is this. All it shows me is anytime there is a duplicate value, it will show me red. I don't think I have one in this table. Let me show. I'm using 2000 rows. I don't have. This is good. It means I don't have to worry about any duplication or anything like that. So now let's see. Let me do something on conditional formatting. Let's say we want to show. Let's go with this. Unemployment. So now what is unemployment doing this data? Okay, unemployment. Let's see. I'm saying 8, I'm saying 7, and I'm saying okay. Let's do a conditional format for this. Let's say we want a cell, not red. Why is it red? Green. Greater, any cell that is greater than 8.0 will appear in green. So we have it. We have the first few green that showed. This ones. So we know that okay, we have 13 here. So automatically it's from doing this, I already know that once I see green, I look it's greater than 8. So now most times doing this is always you answering a question. If you're not answering a question, it will look it won't, it will just be building shall I say coloring your table for no reason. But it's answering a question. Let's just list that. So since I said anything greater than 8, let's say less than 6. This is light red, dark. Now normally you can custom, right? Let me do that for another room. I'm doing that means that anything lesser than 6 should show. So we have it here. So I'm looking for data between 6 and 8. I look for the ones that have no other color. Anything above 8, they are green. Anything lesser than 8, anything lesser than 6 are red. Understand? So let's do a conditional format for this row too. What do I want here? So normally you usually like to let's do between. Usually like to work with a question itself. The question will be the one to help you know what you are doing. 230. And now let's do a custom. Let's say do I want green? I want yellow. No colors. It's black. I want something now. Okay. So now it is between 180 and 230. The ones that are not colored are not in that range. So you basically get what you're using data conditional formatting for. Basically get that, right? So no, I don't think there's any other thing. Okay, let me do data bar. Most of this thing you get it by seeing it. I don't want that. Okay. That's a gradient. Now this shows me that okay, this is a little bit above average, but it's not the top because you can see that this is getting closer. That means there's one that is touching that part. Because just to tell you, okay, is this just basically visualization? I think we have heat map too. Let me see. It's not heat map, but we can make it look like heat map. It's color scale. I'm trying to multiple colors. Let's try this. Yeah, color scale. We know the ones that are low, which are the red. You know the ones that are average, the yellow. You know the ones that are that are in the high scale, which is the green you're saying. So basically, this is just now we have holiday flag, which is 1 and 0, and this is logic. This is logical. It is logical numeration. It's just basically representing yes and no. And if you go there, you see, let's say we want an icon. Let me use this. We have red and 1 yes. So we have yes and no. You've done logic. So I think that basically shows you what Collinear formatting is for. You're not changing anything in your data set. All you're doing is just highlighting some particular parts that you'll be needing or you'll be looking for. Understand? When we get into filtering, you understand. Let's go to what am I doing next? Let's go to data validation. So we're back here. Now, what data validation does is just to tell your role or your column what it can and cannot take. And if you're going to be doing data validation, you're going to need you're going to go to data and then other data. Click. Should I give it a topic yet? Let's put email. So email. Now I like using this, especially if you're working with people, right? You would want your roles. We are working with somebody and you're sharing this, and somebody has the authority or the go ahead to work on your project. You want any importation of data to follow guidelines. This is also what is used for any data entry gig you ever get. You will be working with an Excel sheet that already has what should be there. Now, validation. Allow any value, no. Excellent. Now, what text length should I give? I say between 10 and 50. We are just using this as an example, please. Between 10 and 50. What should I say? So we got an error message and we have an error alert. There always be warning information. There is a stop. So if I write, which email should I use? Let me use this name. It's there. But if I use this, okay, you see that it went now. It showed me that there's a problem. And what's the problem? The problem is when I when I did this, I did it only on this, right? And I did not bother to put it on all my cell. So it only worked for the first row, it didn't work for the second. So let's do that again. Let me use will run, sorry. Shouldn't be using another person's name. Good. Now if I now put the same name, quick email. Help. So this is what I get. Are you getting me? This is what I first get. So even without putting anything, just being here tells me that okay, invalid email. The email inputted is too short. It's short. That means there's no email here. And if I put in something, if it's up to 10, good. If it's less than 10, I get an email, fake email. So basically, it's just for you to work with data, working with other people in data. If you're working with other people, you're trying to do something, or you're even trying to build something, you're trying to input data, and then you don't want to be making mistakes. These are the first things we do to get the data like this, and then we'll input it. Let me delete this. So what else do I want to do? Uh, it's still here. Now, you literally need to turn this to a table before you can use that token, since we're already using a table. So we have data validation. What else do you want to do? Any value? Custom. The same email, not between. It's custom. What do I want to do? Okay. So allow custom formula dot. Then long talks. See, basically the same thing. See here. Okay. Doesn't match. So this is basically just what data validation is for. I don't think if you're not working with another person, you see, you cannot work on anything that already has data and that already has a validation set on it. But apart from that, you can either custom. It's just that with the year of your exam will determine how you are going to set it. You can set a whole number between this and that, must be equal to, must not be greater than x, between this, must not be greater less than equals to. So you get the idea. List, date, text length. Then you can custom. But you also need a formula for that. I put in the start date. Okay. No, uh we're not doing any of that again. Showed you what it is. So let's move to error. This will be you working with formula. Want to do error checking. Now, what are you going to be doing as that error checking? So now we work with formulas. We work with formulas a lot. And one thing about formula is you write your formula down, you may get something that is not appropriate, right? You may get an hashtag name or hashtag ref. So what it helps you do is just to give you a little bit of information of what your error might be and um how you can do it. Understand? How you can fix that error with my English. So now let's go back to that. What do we want to do now? We have our sales, we have our quantity, right? So let's say sales. And then I can easily put Q2 divided by H2. I want to show you, I want to show error, so let me do that. Let me put K1. Good. Now, normally you can go home. But this is it. It shows like this. Divide by 0, help on this error, show calculation step. All that does is just to give you a little bit of idea of, okay, this is where I'm getting problem from. Understand? So to any formula you write and you get a problem, you can easily just ask. Okay, I've done help already. The entry equation. So let's go back to this. Normally, it won't appear like this on your own Excel. I don't know. I don't know the year you're using. It depends on the year. It may not appear like this, but if it's just one that appear, you just need to autofill it and it will work. So we have our sales, we have our unit, quantity, and we have our sales per unit. What do we want to do? We want to do structure reference. Okay. Now to do structure reference, let me copy this table. Okay. Data entry. Remove a copy. The first sheet. Create a copy. The last time I didn't create a copy, so we have a copy now. To to do a structure reference, you first need to name the table. So normally you can just go here and name it. This is a table here. You can name it. This table 18, but for the case of this, we'll use my table. Here you have my table set. You know, there's setting of table and the setting of row. So I'll talk about that later on. And then here, there's also my table. So, and then it's here, table 1 and table 2. Now, when we want to do structure reference, or what structure reference is, it is basically me communicating to another table in the same workspace. I don't know if you're with me. So what we are basically doing is we will call on a table from one table. Okay, let me set an example, but before then, let me make a correction, please. The formula I used here, okay, the formula I used here is always better to actually rather than use that, you use Word itself, because at the point you'll be dealing with, sorry, just like at the point you'll be dealing with people, and then you would not want to now have to be explaining what you do. So sometimes you can always use like this. But for me, I prefer just the column, because if you are dealing with Excel, I believe you should know what Excel is. So when I use that, you can easily just check it. Understand? So now, as I'm saying, I've created my table. And why I'm creating table is just to make sure that I am able to call on that table. Because that's what it is. You have to call on the table. So we have my table 1 and table 2. Before I even go to table 1 and table 2, let's start something. Let's do okay. W1. just to get this here. Let's see if my table is done enough. So we have, now this is what I said that sometimes better we use just name. Let's use, should I use 10 times. And you have to make sure you put art there. But it may not necessarily matter if you are on the same table, but it's best practice because at the point you may be dealing with multiple tables, and if you are not used to putting art, you will forget. So let's do sales per unit. Sorry. I'm used to pressing OK. I should actually press tab. So it is tab. Or is it again? Let me write this. And that's one thing about writing formulas in Excel. Let's do that. We times that by sales tab. And we have the same thing we have here. We have the same thing we have in sales. We have it here. Like I always see. Please be careful about this situation whereby you click here, you'll be on the page and you click another page, it scatters the formula. But this is what I'm saying. It's basically the same thing. Now we have data entry 2. Good. We want to do the same thing. But I'll use the second table. We are still on my table 1. Now this is also part of error. Well, this keep happening because I keep pressing equals to instead of tab. So what should I pick from this table? This is my table. Let me pick quantity. Then the same way, or my table 2. My table 2 should be sales. Okay, what am I missing here? You have to understand that though. The second one has to be on true list. So this should be that it's not reading my table. It's not reading my sales table. Hold on. I have my table 1, I have my table 2. So first table. What should I pick? Let me pick sales here. Now, put in my times. My table 2. I keep pressing OK. So we have pick our row, and then we pick quantity. So I have my table and my table 2. There's a problem with this one, not typing the type of formula equals to or minus. Zero thinks the formula. Oh, my underscore. Okay. I'll change it. So first, let me check here. My table bracket. Sorry, hash all. So now you know there's something wrong with my table. Design. So I made a mistake, and that was naming it. Name already exists, should be unique. So that's done. Let me try the same thing with that. Table 4. So let me try. So now the difference between these two, as I've seen where my mistake is. The difference between these two is this is row, this is table. Understand? I didn't take note to the image, the icons that it showed me. If I take note to it, I'll have seen that it is the rows that it's talking about. It's talking about my cell, not my table. So we're back. We have this. The reason why this is not showing because this is a formula that is in a formula form. So now let's fix this. Note the difference. This is cell, this is table. These are some things you can battle with. And you'll be wondering where the problem is coming from. Table 4. So that was my bad. Table 4. And that quantity should be at quantity. So that's it. You just need to be careful about some things, especially if you are going to be naming a table. You'll be led to think that you can just change it here, or it follows a different version. You have to go to table design itself to name it table. If you name it here, what you are just doing now is basically calling the cell. So if I click here now, it will take me back here. You understand? That's what this first one is for. So if you're going to name the table, you have to go to table design and then name the table. And with table design, you can actually now go on, okay, let me show total row, which is here. So our total, column total. Now let's go to number range. What I should have done, or what I should have done later is what I did first, which is number range. Number range is just basically a way in which you can access other table. For example, This is Walmart, right? Let's say I want to name this column, this column, this store column. Maybe I have basically we're dealing with company data, and company data you have your products, you have your sales, you have your order, then you have is it here customer reply, and so you have multiple tables, and all of them will be sharing. They'll be sharing one single primary key, which may be store at our point. This may be store, and so what you want to do is you want to create a name range that you can easily go back. Maybe you are here and you see store one, and you then want to go back to here. And this kind of thing now is because my columns are little. You can be dealing with data with up to 20, 30 columns, and then you have to come back. And so what you do is just give it a name. And that's what I did the first time. Let's say this store ID. Now you cannot give space. So that's why I'm using underscore. You cannot put space here. You can only put you can only use underscore instead. It's either you put them together or you put an underscore. So I can be here now dealing with this data, and then I can say, okay, let me go to my store ID, and I come back here. So that's basically how you do it. And then there are other ways to do that. We can easily just select what do I which should I select? Should I select this? Let's go back here. We can easily just select here. And then when we select it, go to our formula tab, and this is where we see the divine name, use formula, create from selection, name manager. Let's do some create from selection. It automatically creates a name range for me without me needing to do all that. So this is sales. If I'm going to use the second method, I can just define a name, quantity, workbook, this is the row. Okay, it creates the name for me. Understand? So maybe I'm on under product details and I saw a product. Maybe I'm in product detail and I saw a product and I'm like, okay, this so and so product. How many quantity went the way so and we can easily just go back to this check it out. So that's basically name range. Now sort and filter. Let me use this data for should I use this? Let me use this data for that. Okay. Like I said, insert table. Please, I hope you are hearing me. Is anybody hearing me? Hello? So okay, my audio is working. So now we have this, and I want to filter it. Now this is basically okay, thank God. Where did I get this data from? This is basically where how other data is always like if you're working with a company that is into selling a product. Let's say Jumia now or store. This is how it comes in. You have your row ID, you have your order ID. This is special, this is a primary ID. During our future classes, you'll be dealing with primary IDs and their functions. We have our order date and a shipment day. That means the date was ordered and the day it was shipped. Shipment mode and stuff like that. So now, we want to do sorting or filtering. So now, if I want to put in, hold on. Then before I go to filter, let me go to data. Okay, yeah. So now, it's easy to just sort. Just let's click and you go to sort, and then you cannot decide by smallest to largest, largest to smallest. Can't change any part of the array. So let me go here. That's why this one is here. So from the largest to the smallest, and it changes. For text, now because this is full name, that's why I left this full name here. If I had not left this full name, if I was dealing with just single names, it will be difficult to sort them because it will give you option, but sometimes you can make a mistake by just sort, especially if you are in a hurry. Now we start quarter, we have you see the EFG like that. And for my sales, can easily sort it as okay. I want to see the largest. I want the largest by quantity. I want the largest by quantity. The largest by quantity. I have 10, which was the highest here. And so that's just about sorting. It's basically just that you're sorting from A to Z, you're sorting from Z to A. Alphabetically, it is numerically you will sort from largest to smallest, but then you can go to custom sort. Now, custom sort, if you are going to sort custom wise, I think the only thing that is that different is, let's say, two. I've messed with this data. Let me create a new sheet. So I have two. I just want to 3, 4, 7, 6, 5. So if I want to sort this, it can. It's just that rather than use normal sort, you go to custom sort. And then you look at, okay, this sort by this column wise. You don't want this to be column. So you go to options and then you sort from left to right. Top to bottom is a column, left to right is row. And then you cannot decide that, okay, you want it. Can't you recognize it? Or is not specified. Smallest to largest. I want to sort from largest to smallest. Now this is row wise. And then you sort it. See the difference? So you can do that, but doing that in a table wouldn't work because Excel has intelligence of your own. So let's say I want to sort now and I go to custom sort. And now put option, I put I want to. You see that I can't even click this because it's in table format and row sorting doesn't work in table format. That's why you use basically um all standard column sort. Hope you understand. So now let's go to filtering. Should I use this or this? Now, okay, we have, let's say we have shipping mode now. And then I think if understanding this thing is also logic because you'll be dealing with it a lot if you're like dealing with other tools like SQL because you're like, okay, if you want to select all under standard class, then you know, it's okay. I only want first class to show. It's easier if you have a table. If you don't have a table, it's still going to show, but you have to now pick it itself. So now I have corporate, I have textures, I have this, I have shipping mode, which is first class. So these are all the products that were shipped under first class. And let's say I want the ones that were shipped under first class but are under home office. I have that. Let's not say I want to pick a city too. And this is the benefit of having a table. You can filter all the table on the rows or the column you want to. Which should I use? Let me Chicago. Yeah, so here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 products, 4 orders. The shipping mode is first class. You have the name, Christopher. Shirley Daniels ordered 3 times. Okay, yikes. Let me check. This real conditional formatting will work now. Between. So it's not duplicate. Okay, this is just the level of data. You kind of see things that are in the data and you try to check. All these are the same, these are the same, these are the same, these are the same. These are the same. Okay, this is different. So from beginning, I was thinking that is a duplicate. And when I checked conditional formatting and it didn't flag it, I was like, okay, why is it not duplicate? Since the other ID is the same, the date is the same, shipment date the same, class the same, customer ID the same, name, the segment, the country, they're the same people. Even postal codes are the same here. But from product ID, you see a difference. From category, you see a difference. So it's just somebody that ordered once, but ordered multiple items. So basically, this is filtering. This is me filtering on my data, just to know. And most times it works well when you're dealing with, even when you're working with a question. In our other class, we will come with a question. The next class we'll be having is going to be more of an interactive class because we'll be trying to solve some questions. So that's basically just sorting. Hold on. I think there is something I wanted to check. Text filter. Okay, now let me just quickly put my hands on this. We have this is, should I use customer? Let me use segment, please. Cannot be looking at their names and be so we have text filter. I want only this, and it gives me all that. So it's just basically me doing filtering this, but with text. You understand? And I can say begin with, let me put M to see what it will give me. Nothing begins with M. End with S. You see now? You see, and then we have all C. Anything that contains C shows. This is just a text filter. Let me go to figures and look at filtering. Number filter. So now we can filter bid for it. Okay. So top 10. 1%. And then we have top 10. So we filter from the top 10 down. This for value. So just the way you do your conditional formatting. This is why I tell you all of them go hand in hand. Just the way you do your conditional formatting is the same way you do this. Lesser than, lesser or equals to, between, above average, below average. So all this now above average. And all these are below average sales. So that's just filtering. Is there any other thing? Custom filter usually don't mess with it, but it's still the same way. Equals to, do not, it does not equals to, is greater than, it is lesser than, does not begin, end with, contains. It's still limited to what you can do. So basically everything you need is already here for your filtering. It's already here. But then if you just want to pick a particular number, because even if you pick one, you still have the chance to do that here. So custom is you just going directly to the source without picking an already made syntax for you. So that's that on filtering. We've done data entry formatting of sales, data types, conditional formatting, data validation, error checking, structure reference, name range, sorting, and filtering. If there's any question, please let me know. If there's any question, let me know. Before I move into pivot table. Let's go into pivot table. Seems like there's no question. So let's go into pivot table. Now, pivot table is just, should I say, Excel own method of making it easier for you to do more complex calculation or more complex analysis without needing to go through multiple formulas. So it is their own solution for multiple formulas. So what you are doing now is you are taking the data and then you are building it to get what you particularly need. So it is more for visualization, especially if you want to build a dashboard. It's more for filtering because you're taking a particular space there. This is why I like it because you deal with logic, and it's more for analysis. Because if you are conversant with Power Query, you can easily just do one or two complex calculation from pivot table. But that's not what we are doing. So let's go to pivot table. And we'll use this data. Don't mind the way it looks, it doesn't affect us at all. So we go to insert, and you automatically just insert pivot table. You will be doing this, but I think we'll do this another time. Not just to waste time. We have our pivot table, new worksheets. Okay, let's do that another. I just press OK, and then you have your pivot table, and this is how it looks like. And this for the software version. The online version is a little bit different, but generally it's still just like this. And from this, you can easily build your visualization. You can easily try and see something. Let's start with store. This thing is blocking me. We have store, but I want it to be rows, not values. So 1, because it is, if you put it in values, it will calculate, it will multiply everything. And the store is logical, is not numbers. And so let's say store the weekly sales. So store 1 weekly sale, and then 4. So we have this. There's store 1 weekly sale, 2 weekly sale. This is just me showing you how pivot table works. I'm not doing anything too crazy from there, but let me remove this. From there, we can now insert. What chart will work for this? So let's go bar chart. And then we have this. See how easy it is for me to just build a visualization from there, because it communicates with both the visuals and the table. It communicates with 2 of them. Then we can talk about editing this later on. And then we can include fuel price, and we have this. Now, fuel price is so low that it's not showing here. If we have temperature, fuel price, you just got it is right. So what it's doing is, rather than me now going from going through the process of creating, let me go to my search. Rather than me going through all the process of me selecting a role and not trying to insert a visual, it will be giving me, you understand how it is now. Instead of me doing that way, I don't have the ability to control that much. What the pivot table just allows me to do is, okay, I can control my visuals and I can get whatever I'm looking for here. Because this will work well if you have questions that you're answering. Let's say, okay, I'm trying to find out an average of let me see, let me move up and down. Average temperature of the store. You understand? So it's me just trying to answer question. And the pivot table is where you spend most of your time, especially if you're not working from scratch with data. If you're not working from scratch with data, you spend most of your time here because you'll be trying to build the visuals from here. Although it's not really the best, but still. Now, if you're going to if you're going to do pivot table again, you can just easily insert pivot table and existing, and just pick location. You know, existing. Shoot. Installation reference valid. Okay, I'm not supposed to write there. You're supposed to click. We have another pivot table. Now let's deal with dates. Now, one thing about pivot table is that the reason I like using it is it creates a date hierarchy for me without me needing to create it myself. And what's date hierarchy is just basically you're creating here quarters, months, and then the day. I don't think we have day here. So this is the date. Let's remove quarters. Let's remove date. We have years. And then let's do that with sales. And let's say it will look. Now it's like this because I'm not practically answering the question. So, okay, it's not looking bad. So the sum of weekly sales for February as such. Now, this looks like a time series data. Let me set a now from this I can even create a slicer. I'm just practically showing you. We'll deal with that later. Now this is lesser than this date. Okay, now let's move everything and put 2010. You see how easy that is. So that's basically the pivot table. We'll be working with pivot table in the next class, and then we'll be doing visualization. So you should get it more than there. So for today, we've done data entry, created this data from scratch. We've talked about data type, we've done conditional formatting. I think this still looks like this. Data validation, error checking. We've done structured reference, the one that almost stressed me. And then name range, sorting, and then pivot table. I think the other thing that should give you a little bit of trouble when you're working with is understanding what error check is, the messages it gives you. Sometimes I find that going to documentation pays than just like I am following the error they gave you and the help they gave you. Sometimes documentation helps better. And then structured reference. Because normally the due processing with doing that sometimes will be stressful. Because as I said, doing like this and naming it a table doesn't mean it's a table. It's just a row. You have to go to table design. Please, you must note this. It's very important. You have to go to table design and name your table. Understand? If you click it here and then come here, it should be even under home. And you come here and then you rename it. You just rename the cells. It's just for you to come back to it. You didn't rename anything. You have to go to table design and then give it a name. That's the only way that's the only way you've named the table. If not, if you do that and you give it a name from here, the problem is it will show here. But when you are doing a reference, it will be giving you an error just like the ones we've seen before. So I just had to find out where the problem is coming from. Since the syntax, the formula is correct, then it has to be something with my table. And then I went and looked at it and I said, okay, fine. When I checked equals to, I saw that okay, this is row, this is table. And so what I was doing was taking row and then expecting it to give me the result of referencing another table. So because what structure references is you're referencing another table, meaning you're connecting. It's just linking, especially if you've worked with Power BI, you understand what is linking multiple tables together. So it's just like me linking another table, but rather than now that table with the cell I'm pointing at, it's going to give me an error. So you just need to have that at the back of your mind, and with that, you won't have a problem. I think I've covered everything I'm supposed to cover today, but a little bit of extra. So if there is there any question